Hey guys, welcome back to Tablenauts. This is Doolin, and I have a quick video for you guys that I want to talk about because it's important and maybe you guys can give me a little bit of accountability. You see, lately, I've not actually been purchasing a whole lot of games, but my spending habits over the last year are catching up with me. It's not that I bought a whole bunch at one time, but all of them are getting delivered right now, whether it be Kickstarters, pre-orders, or even just something that wasn't in stock and now is. I have no idea why they're all fulfilling right now, but I went from a grand total of only 12 games left on my shelf of shame to I don't really know. We're gonna see at the end of this video. Before we do though, I do just want to shout out this pretty awesome shirt made by a friend named Benjamin over at the Board Game Dad. He has a really cool channel. I saw him wearing the shirt and I was like, I need that. Turns out he actually has a website that it's promoting called theperfectboardgame.com where you can go, you can list some things that you like, and it helps you find a board game that you might enjoy. This isn't sponsored or anything like that. I just wanted to shout out my cool shirt because it's got like 50 different board game pieces on it, and they're all uniquely drawn by this dude. Like, pretty dang cool. Either way, let's get into the games that I've been buying and receiving, and I need to play them. Let's start off small. So I got this game recently. This was actually a purchase that I probably didn't need to make, but I was at the mall. There's a board game store there, and my wife was getting fitted for a bunch of different clothes, and I was just hanging out. I'd already eaten Annie Ann's. I'd already gotten some ice cream, and I didn't really know what to do. Just kind of sitting there waiting, and I looked forever and decided I want to buy this game. Yeah. But this is a 2 to 4 player competitive game where you're going to be moving these really chonky, awesome looking tiles around, trying to make your pattern before anybody else makes theirs. The thing is, you're the only one who knows your pattern, and everybody else is the only people who know their patterns, and you might accidentally be helping another person fulfill theirs, and so on and so forth. It claims it's quick, easy to learn, easy to play, and I love magnetic boxes, and I freaking love these chunky tiles. I mean, come on. Very rarely do I buy a game with zero research, but this one was one that intrigued me and it was very, very cheap, so I was like, why not? Moving on though to some games that I actually did do a little bit of research on. We're gonna move on to a game that I think I've already talked a little bit about called Longshot. I've actually already played this multiple times, probably like 5 or 6 times now, but I've only had it for a matter of probably 3 weeks. I've played it at 1, I've played it at 6. 6 is probably the highest I've played it at. But I gotta say, this is incredible. It's a roll and write where there are horses racing around the track, and your goal is to bet on the winning horses as much as you can, and also try to own those horses by purchasing them when it's your turn. Like most good roll and writes, there's a lot of ways to sort of get these combos that feel really, really rewarding. But in the end, this is a really fun, almost gotcha-y roll and write where you can even pull other horses back that you don't want winning after your friend has already spent all of their money on that horse. But guess what? They can do the exact same thing to you. But this is an incredible game that I don't doubt that we're gonna have a video on pretty soon because both Max and I love this game. Moving to one of the Kickstarters that finally did fulfill, this is one that is sort of a passion project by another YouTuber. But this one isn't a board game YouTuber. He has some board game ones, but they're mainly just a really awesome channel that does funny content, podcasts, and this really cool thing called the Movie Game. If you go to the Valley Folk YouTube channel, which is a channel way bigger than mine, so you probably found them before you found me. They do this cool thing where they pull a bunch of other YouTubers onto the channel and then play this sort of trivia style game that all revolves around knowing movies as well as you can, while also really, really clever wordplay. In this game, there's gonna be 2 synopses of movies that are going to kind of clue you in. They'll give you enough clues to figure it out, but not too obvious, of 2 movies. And they're gonna be whoosh, together to form one big movie synopsis that is pointing you to 2 separate movies. The goal of the game is to figure out what 2 movies those are and figure out how they kind of blend together. Like for instance, this one says, an evil genie exacts revenge upon the street rat that banished him, first movie, by shoving his dismembered body into a North Dakotan wood chipper. Second movie. On the YouTube channel, he gives hints as he goes to try to help YouTubers along until they finally get what the two movies are and their combined name. But in the board game that he created based off of this idea where he wrote, man, I think I have close to 400, 500 cards in here. There'll be hints such as, hint 1 is for the first movie. Robin Williams did not return for the sequel. And hint 2 was for movie number 2, which says, now a popular TV show. Based off of that information, you by yourself, or if you're playing teams, I like to play teams because most of the people I'm around aren't big movie buffs. You try to figure out what both those movies are, which are The Return of Jafar, which is the Aladdin sequel, in case you didn't know, and Fargo. So you would take those two titles, throw them together, and you would get the title Return of Jafargo. I just thought this was incredible. My wife and I, during the pandemic, watched basically every single video in this series, and it was a much needed, like, sort of, I guess, distraction from what was going on. And when we found out that he was gonna do this many in a small box that was gonna get a lot of love, and it was only gonna go to Kickstarter, I was like, I gotta get that. I gotta get it. It's gonna be something that at least Emily and I will enjoy playing ourselves, but we tried it with my family already, and they also enjoy it a lot. So far, that's only 3 games. It's not taking up a lot of room on my shelf, so let's go to some of the bigger ones. We'll start with one that I did buy fairly recently, and it was mainly because I saw it for a freaking good deal. This is Alter Quest, and I have a huge box over there with a bunch of stretch goals as well. It's not gonna fit anywhere on my shelf. I don't know why I purchased it, but I wanted it. I don't know how else to say it. It sounds awesome. It's a cooperative game. It says on the side of the box, a cooperative game of fantasy adventure for 1 to 4 players. And this is supposed to take like a bunch of mechanics from games of old to like give you this nostalgia feel of playing these dungeon crawlers from the past. I'm not that old, so I've not played much of those. It just got me. Like, I mean, I can't deny that every time I've seen this, I've been like, I really want to try this out. I've only pulled out most of the miniatures and looked at them, but the game looks really, really neat. The rulebook is a monster, so it's gonna be a while, but maybe we can get some coverage out on this if this is something that you guys are interested in. So what is that? The total is now 4 new games to my shelf of shame. Not really though, because 2 of those I've already played, so boom, knocked those out already. As if that somehow like makes it okay to keep spending money. Next up is a game I was waiting on for a little while to arrive in a group purchase that I did through Cardhaus with Max and our friend Sean. And this was called Steampunk Rally Fusion. And this game just looks super cool. It's a race where you have built this sort of contraption that you're racing in the middle of the like wilderness, like almost like Mad Max looking world. But I think what got me was just the way that it all works. I've never seen anything quite like it before, where there is a bunch of pieces that you can throw on to build your sort of racer, and those can be destroyed, they can fall off, and you can build new pieces. Like, it just seems like this really interesting game from Roxley that I'm pumped to try out. If you've played it before, please let me know, because I don't know much more other than the theme and some of the basic mechanics of the game. But this is one that really caught my eye. It's been catching my eye for a while now, and I'm glad that I finally own it. Then we have a gift from when Jeff and Jamie were here. She gave me the game Scout, which we immediately played, so I can knock this off of the shelf of shame. But this is a fun sort of party-ish game with cards where you're attempting to get rid of your entire hand, and the only way that you can do that is by getting pairs and runs. But the only way that you can play your cards is in order in which they are in your hand. One of the coolest part about this game, though, is that at the very beginning, when you're given your hand, you can choose to use one side or the other side, which is filled with a whole new grouping of numbers. You sort of do this scan of, okay, if I get rid of this pair right here, that will hopefully make my cards go together in such a way that I can get rid of even more of them in a different order. But then you're doing that to the other side and kind of thinking, okay, how many turns is it going to take me to get rid of this side of my hand versus the other side? What do I think my friends around me are going to play? Am I going to have enough to kind of sort of be able to go up above them instead of giving them money for cards and taking more into my hand? It's a lot more thinky than just a basic party card game, and I like that about it. Oink did an incredible job with it, and it's one I'm very happy to own. Next up though, we have a game that unfortunately, I don't know what it is. We would go to board game stores and Jamie would look at me and say, yeah, you should buy that, Josh, you deserve it, and I would get it. So thank you, I guess. I don't know. But I did buy this game called Rhino Hero, which is more for children. It's by Haba Games, but it's really fun. It's about stacking cards in such a way that you aren't the loser. You want somebody else around the table to knock over the tower of cards without you being the one who does it. It's sort of, think like Jenga, but not really, because you kind of have an equal, like, there's never gonna be a moment like in Jenga where there's absolutely no move. You're just going straight up from this one card, and you have cards that bend, which already feels wrong, but it's super cool. You build them up until finally somebody is trying to place the cards that they're supposed to, and it all falls down. On top of that, you have a little Rhino meeple, which is really cute, that every once in a while a card will say, you gotta move the Rhino Hero now to the top of the building, and it's annoying because you gotta not only pick him up off of one level without making the cards fall over, but you also got to put him up on top. And he doesn't weigh a lot, but cards, man, like, he's top heavy, and it can be a way that it just kills your game, like, and you end up losing. But it's really fun. It's very, very easy to teach. Like, you could probably, if you have kids, like, this would be an easy one to pull out anytime and get it set up really, really quickly. And yeah, I like this game a lot. But again, one that I've already played, so doesn't have to count into my shelf of shame. Next up, we have one that I've had pre-ordered for a little bit. I did so after I watched Dice Tower talk about it, and it just seemed like, I don't buy every game that they recommend because they recommend a lot of games, but this game just sounded really, really fun. It was, it's described as sort of a lighter weight worker placement game, and there's even a bit of luck with some die rolls involved. It's also really, really cute. It's all called Creature Comforts. It's for 1 to 5 players, so I'm probably gonna learn it solo here probably in the next 2 or 3 days, but it is one that I have not played just yet. I would dare say that just based off of what I've heard though, this game is going to end up in my top 10 of 2022. We'll see if it's actually that good, but I have high expectations for this game, which normally means that it's gonna fail. I have a really bad problem with overhyping games in my mind, or underhyping. If somebody's like, it's not very good, I'll go in thinking, this isn't gonna be very good, and then I'm blown away. And if I think it's gonna be really good, I go in, I think, this is gonna be the best game ever, and then it's not, and I get disappointed. Something I can work on, whatever. Then, on top of that, this was kind of a silly purchase. I don't even know if we'll ever actually play this. I hope that we do. Max and I are moving into a series where we're gonna be playing video games that have board game adaptations, or vice versa, and comparing the two. We'll probably play most of the video games on Twitch, so if you haven't followed us on Twitch, you should go over to Twitch, because we just don't wanna, we want to keep Tablenauts, the YouTube channel, all about board games. But we have been playing and getting more interested in video games, and so Twitch, I feel like, is a good place for that. But in preparation for that, though, I did purchase this game that you probably haven't heard of, because I had never heard of it, but it is by Square Enix. It's called Tomb Raider Legends, and I don't know if you've played any of the old Tomb Raider games, any of the new Tomb Raider games, but this is supposed to try to, like, take all of those, like, fans and put it into one game, because it has different Lauras from different eras in the game that you can play as. Tomb Raider is this sort of like Indiana Jones style game where you play as a hunter, an adventurer, and Laura is just this awesome person who explores dungeons, finds treasure, makes enemies, and I've mainly played the newer games, which are incredible if you haven't played them yet, but I'm excited to try this. My guess is, by the stats I've seen on BGG, is that it's not that great, but we're gonna compare it anyway, and we'll talk. It'll be fun to talk about, like, why is that? Why is it that games that come out that are based off of really incredible IPs on video games sometimes are trash? And maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe we'll be like, this is slept on, and people didn't give it a proper chance. But I don't know. Either way, this is a game that I bought, and hopefully it won't be on my shelf of shame for too incredibly long. We're gonna try to go a little bit faster, because I got a few more big ones. But this is another Jamie talked me into it game called Masters of the Night. It's a cooperative vampire story-based game. I can't tell you much about it other than I was like, I like vampires. I like co-op. I wanna try this. So we're going to play this probably soon with Emily. I really like the aesthetic, the theme, the art just looks all incredible to me, but I'll let you know if it's worth your time here pretty soon. But that is Masters of the Night. Then lastly, one that is a big, oh no, not lastly. What am I talking about? I got 2 more left. We're gonna go with the slightly smaller box. And this is one of my first Kickstarters I've ever gotten. Ugh. And that is Super Fantasy Brawl Season 2. I did open it because if you know me at all, you know that I do not do well with knives or scissors. And I don't want you guys to have to see that on camera, but you might have to anyway. Get that out of here. These are the rules. I already have those. These are, oh yeah, I bought some extra ones of these. I don't know if I'll ever use them, but this is mainly so that I can play like 4-player, like well, anyway. So I needed those. Get that out of here. Get that out of here. And this is Season 2. Okay. Woo-wee! Okay, and then what are these goodies? Okay, cool. So I got something in this. We're gonna open that later. Oh, these are my like my sleeves. I got a bunch of sleeves for all my cardy cards. Then we have, oh, these look so awesome. 3 sets of 3 new characters each. These are all of the new Season 2 minis. And they look fantastic. Oh my goodness. I'm hoping really soon, just because I love this game. I think it's really well made. I think that the card play, instead of just die rolls for like a miniatures based game, is really interesting. It's very strategic. It gives me sort of that feeling that I get when I play like King of the Hill or other like objective-based games in shooters that I love, like Halo. But I want to play a tournament here soon with my friends. We're gonna break out literally all of the minis, do a draft of sorts, and just play a couple of rounds. Loser gets eliminated, winner does not. Or maybe we'll do like a season play. Like, wouldn't that be cool? You play again like a round robin, everybody plays each other. Oh, okay. We're gonna think about that a little bit more, but I am pumped to own this. Mythic Games, well done in the middle of like pandemic problems with shipping, getting this like on time. Like, I don't know how you did it, but well done. I'm pumped to own this. I'm excited to open them up and look at all of the gorgeous little miniatures, but for now, we have one left. And this is a big boy. Oh, I guess I forgot to open him. This was a buy off Miniature Market. That I probably didn't need. But they were having a spring 90% off sale, and I got suckered into it. But I got a few games for incredibly cheap. I think I paid $40 for all of this. I got the game Stacked, which just looked super fun, sort of in the realms of the Rhino Hero game, right? So like your goal is to stack Tetris-looking pieces where you're supposed to, and that's pretty much it. It's a dexterity game that looks super fun, and I'm pumped to try it. Then I think this was like $2, and it just had a whole bunch of miniatures. So I was like, I mean, I can use those for D&D. I can use those for Pathfinder. I'm not going to show you. I guess I will show you. I doubt that I'll have these built in time for this video to come out. But these are Wrath of Kings models. I very much doubt that I'll get into this game at all. I just want the miniatures, and I paid nothing for it. So yeah, that is another thing. I don't think that should count towards my Shelf of Fame, right? Maybe it does. And then the last one was one that I have played before, but I've never owned it, and it was a while ago. It was at Gen Con 2018? 2019? I don't remember. But they were showing off this game. I played it. because I was a really big fan of Game of Thrones at the time. I hadn't seen the last season yet. I didn't know that it was about to destroy my sense of what was and wasn't a good TV show. This is A Song of Ice and Fire, specifically the Starks versus Lannisters set. I remember thinking this was fun at Gen Con, and then I was like, how much is this? And I think they said something ridiculous because Simon is crazy priced at Gen Con. I think it was like $150, and I was like, yeah, it's not that fun. I found this on Miniature Market for $30. I think it was $29.99. There was a time in my life where I used to purchase anything that had minis in it if I could use them for Pathfinder or D&D, because I convinced myself that it's cheaper than just buying Reaper minis. I eventually gave that up because I knew that not all minis were created equal, but I've seen these miniatures, I know that they're good, and there's an insane amount of them in here for only $30. I don't know if I'll ever play this game. I might play it like once or twice with Max because Max is interested in it, but they're already pre-made. This game is cool, for one, and two, that they're a bunch of soldiers. Like, I can use these whenever I want for Pathfinder. Like, it's just two-side. I don't even have to paint them really because they're red and blue. If I want to show like they're different factions, you all of a sudden are adventuring and you come across two wearing factions against each other. Do you join the fight? Who do you join? And I could easily just throw in that scenario whenever I want, and it's incredible. Like, there's guys on horses. There's the mountain, and he looks freaking cool. Tyrion is in here. All of the Starks. Oh man, I'm getting distracted. But this looks cool. I'm super pumped to try this out. I'm super pumped to open it up and see like just how many miniatures are in this game. But for $30, I mean, come on. I know that this felt sort of like an ad for Miniature Market, but I actually do most of my buying on Cardhaus. It's just, they've been having really good deals lately. Keep your eyes open. If you want to be told about those deals, come and join our Discord. And also, come there because I'm going to need help knowing what to play first. I did a really good job over the Christmas season not getting rid of, but like finally playing a lot of my Shelf of Shame. I think I went from like 50 to 60 games on it down to 12 now. And now I have quite a few more. I would love to know what you guys think I should play first. What maybe you guys would like to see more of once I learn how to play them, or ones that I've already played. Let me know if you want to see us play those games. That is my Shelf of Shame update / me just being honest. I think I've screwed up. I think I've purchased too much. I think literally today, Azul Queen's Gardens is supposed to arrive, and I know I'm going to want to play that. On top of that, I forgot to say that Tiny Epic Dungeons finally arrived, but I already broke into that and I've already started playing it. I need to slow down. I don't know if I will. All jokes aside, I am pumped that some of these things are finally arriving. I just didn't expect them to come all at once. So until next time, love you guys. Bye.